Now let's understand the second part of our capsule, skill set. What are the techniques and methods which can help us to interrupt effectively? Let's consider a few scenarios. The first scenario is you are sitting in the meeting and you want to cut someone off. In this case, the timing of interruption is very important. See, understand one thing. When we cut someone off, fundamentally that person is not going to like it. It's very natural. Even if I'm cutting you off in the middle of conversation, you are not going to like it. For a few seconds at least, but you will not like it. But there is a way of doing this politely and ensuring if you do this politely, the correct phrase with correct gestures, the shock is a very big word, but a little shock which normally we inflict on ourselves whenever someone cuts us off in the conversation will be very, very minimal, very less, marginal. Understand this. Two important things. First, if possible, let that person finish. But if not possible, you want to cut that person in the middle. Do these two things. First, show your hand. Show your hand. Make sure that you are priming that person that, hey, I'm going to cut you off now. Because if suddenly in the middle, when that person is not expecting from you to speak, and if you are just speaking, there's a different shock only. But at least when you're showing your hand in the middle of the meeting, maybe 10 to 15 people are sitting and someone is speaking, you want to cut that person off, show your hand so that person mentally got primed now that you are going to speak or you have a point. Number one. And when your hand is up, make sure you are looking towards that person. You are not looking down in your notebook. You are not looking here and there because you want to respect that. You want to respect that person. You have to look towards that person confidently. Even if you do that, you are indirectly telling that person, hey, I want to cut you off. And he get primed in a very mild way in his mind or in her mind that you are going to speak. But when your hand is up, there are two scenarios. One, maybe the person who is moderating the session or the person who is the senior most, he will say, okay, tell me what's your point. Or maybe no one is moderating the session. And then the person who is speaking, the person you want to cut off, he stops. Now it's your responsibility to start. Do this thing. Keep your hand down and say this. Maybe a phrase like this, keeping a smile on your face. Smile is a certificate of confidence, even if you are a little nervous from inside, even if you are angry from inside, no matter, but smile. And say, use phrases like this. Maybe number one, thanks for sharing your view, but is that okay if I interrupt you just for a moment? Thanks for sharing your view. We are acknowledging his view. See, whether you have liked or not liked, agree, disagree, but you have to acknowledge. So thanks for sharing your view or thanks for making your point. First line, when the next person who is expecting that maybe he's cutting me off, when that person sees you or even other people, they see you that, hey, he or she is smiling and acknowledging first. Saying thank you first. There is acknowledgement. And then very politely you have to ask for permission. Is that okay if I interrupt you for a moment? Is that okay if I interrupt you for a moment? There is a huge difference the way you just cut off someone like this and start speaking your point, and first prime the person, even the other audience, for your point by showing this gesture of confidence, by acknowledging the person, respecting his or her point of view, doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree, taking the permission from that person for interruption. When you do this, which will take hardly 15 to 20 seconds, but when you do that, after that when you put your point, that point has a different weight only. But very simple. In this kind of scenario, when you want to cut off people, instead of just abruptly cutting off and starting your point, show your hand, smile. Thanks for sharing your view. Is that okay if I interrupt you for a moment? Then your point.